All right. At home, thank you so much for just continuing to hang in there with us. I hope you enjoyed that because it was really interesting to me to sit there and watch the very first time that I had an opportunity to sit down with Mr. Pritch. And I hope we're getting a copy of tonight's program. Are we getting a copy of tonight's program, Dave? Okay, that's excellent because I want to be able to share this online for the many students who are now spread out all over the world. You can sit back and you can see, our principal, Mr. Pritch, and that's how the whole thing got started on the road with Doc Pritchett. It was born out of that very first interview that we had because at that time, Sean and I were relatively new primary producers of In the Upper Room because before Sean and I became so actively involved as we are today, we were sharing those duties with the late Anthony Carter and, of course, our lovely sister Terry Carter. And then as Shauna and I took more responsibility for the content, it became more important for us to also go out and find guests, to support the platform and provide, information to you. So one of the first people I thought about was Mr. Pritch because number one, he had an impact on me, and number two, I know that he has had and will continue to have an impact on so many others in the community. So we started out as an interview, and then that one interview led to our creating a 15-minute segment within the In the Upper Room hour to feature On the Road with Doc Pritchett. That's how it all got started. And of course, as you know, as families prosper, they tend to grow and expand, and we did. We were blessed to prosper and expand, and that 15-minute turned into a full hour on the second Sunday of every month. And I gotta tell you, I am so proud of how Mr. and Mrs. Pritchett have grown into their role as program host here on Channel 28. And during the time while you were watching the recorded piece, I was sitting here and I was talking to Dave, and Dave and I were talking about growth and seeing people grow right here on this channel, right before your eyes, because that clip that we showed you was from 2009. I was a greenhorn doing this. I was just cutting my teeth, and of course Dave was just recently arriving on the scene here behind the cameras, and so Dave has watched us grow and he has helped us grow. Dave, I like to kid with him. I like to rib him a lot because I respect him, and so what you don't see is you don't see the coaching that sometimes goes on, the telling you to sit a certain way and to smile sometimes and to enjoy this process. So when you're surrounded by professionals who know this business, it really helps a lot. When you know that Keisha's going to be on point with the right camera angle, when you know that Aubin is going to call the right call from the director's chair and transition into just the right angle, that helps, and that helps you to grow, and it helps us to deliver a higher quality production for you. So at home, I'm just really, really, really humbled to be a part of all of this. And do you remember back when we were fighting just to keep live leased access on the air? We were fighting just to keep this going because, number one, it is our drumbeat. This is how information that is relative and pertinent gets out to you. Many of our viewers and followers and supporters are quote unquote, and I don't really like this term, but I've heard it. They call it being shut in, but the thing is, here is the only reason why I would use that term is because of this analogy. A person may be shut in, however, they don't deserve to be shut out. You understand? And just because you may not get around as much as you used to physically, or just because you don't do some of the things that you used to do or that you would like to do, it doesn't mean that you're any less impactful. I truly do believe that every single living soul on this earth is important. And I don't care at what stage of the life process it is, you're still equally important, and God still loves you just the same. And so please don't ever sell yourself short just because you may have more challenges today than you had yesterday. I think about the time that I spend down Hurley, visiting with my beautiful, beautiful family down there. And sometimes I see, I may see a wheelchair or I may see a walker in a person's hands. But guess what? What I see before I see any of that, I see one of my elders, I see one of my brothers, I see one of my sisters, and I see the person. I don't see the impairment, I see the person. And I just want us to really just continue to respect each other. Because, a lot of times, if we are too quick to judge, you're setting yourself up, because there is something called karma, and what goes around does come around. So it doesn't benefit any of us to look down on another person, because I remember hearing the saying, the same people you pass on the way up are the people you'll pass on the way down, And so I know we have a lot of successful people here in Wilmington. We have doctors, we have lawyers, we have politicians and other public servants. And many of them had to come up on the rough side of the mountain. I could throw many names out there, but just for the sake of this point, I think about Mr. Sam Guy. He's been through all of the ups and downs, but he paid the cost to be the boss. He got himself educated. He decided that he had to make certain choices, and he was willing to do that. And as a result, he is successful. And his success is obvious, and that's one thing. You have certain people whose success is obvious. You can't mistake it. You can see it. It's there. It's tangible. And then I look at also others in the community who are also successful. And once again, I don't want to throw names around, because a lot of people don't want their names used for an example, because they're not looking for the accolades. But some of your successful people may not look like what we are conditioned to perceive success to be. And you've heard me say that before. Success doesn't always come in a suit and tie. A lot of times success comes in simply doing those things that you were put here on this earth to do. And whether you are rewarded for it, acknowledged for it, celebrated for it, that doesn't determine your success, in my opinion. In my opinion, one's success is determined by the fact, did I seek to do the best I could do? Did I look for my calling? Did I rise to the occasion when my time to serve came? And as we gauge our performance in terms of meeting those few questions, I think one can begin to feel more successful and stop looking for external validation. And believe me, a lot of times, your accolades and your appreciation comes when you least expect it. I can witness to that. I remember one time I was serving as the cover artist for the August Quarterly commemorative booklet, which I have to tell you, it was a great honor to serve as the cover artist from 2007 through 2014. It was a great, great, great opportunity, and I was given that opportunity initially by Miss Judith Roan. Yeah, Judy down at Mother Church. She she gave me the opportunity to become involved with August Quarterly, and it was so enriching because I didn't know a lot about it. I didn't know the history. But as the project, began, and I began to hear and learn from Mr. Moon and Val McCoy and Hiram and all those guys, as they began to educate me about August Quarterly, I became impassioned, impassioned about it, or passionate about it, and committed to it. So through the work that we were able to do together, those guys, they got me good. They got me real good. I wasn't used to getting any kind of awards, and they nominated and presented me with a Point of Light Service Award for community service. And that award meant so much to me because, number one, it was unexpected, and number two, it was associated with something that I was committed and passionate about. So it does feel good when people validate your participation by giving you an award or recognition. And sometimes it gives you that extra oomph that you need to press on. And sometimes, we can't wait for that to happen before we do something. You can't go into something just expecting that everyone is going to pat you on the back, because for me that would be self-induced frustration, and you're setting yourself up to, not finish or follow through with what you're doing. So with that said, I told my crew here at the studio that I was going to speak for about 10 more minutes. So I'm going to talk for another couple of minutes, and then after that, I'm going to be signing off. And again, if you're just tuning in, you missed a whole bunch, but that's okay. I understand you got a life. But I'm Mike O'Reilly, and I'm sitting in tonight on behalf of Mr. and Mrs. Maurice Pritchett. And what you're watching is just a fabulous part of the wonderful lineup here on Channel 28. This is On the Road with Doc Pritchett. And I just also, even before I go off there, I'm going to tell you in advance, you're in for a continued treat for the rest of the evening as well, because after this program, starting at 8 o'clock, oh boy, that's the Congo Hour. That's the Congo Hour. And you got Wayna Dobson on that. And Wayna is just dynamic. When you see Wayna, you see a loving spirit, and you see someone who is a top-notch professional. I love the work that Wayna and Trippy and Mr. C, I love the work they do on the Congo Hour. I've been a fan. And Wayna actually was the very first person to interview me on Channel 28. I remember that. I was scared to death. And Wayna said, "Are you going to be okay?" And just the comfort of her voice made me instantly relax. And I never would have imagined in a million years that I would be able to sit before a camera live and talk with you. But Wayna showed me that I could do it. And so with that set me up to say, okay, well, it won't kill me. So thank you, Wayna.
You're welcome.
All right, y'all heard her. And after Wayna interviewed me, the next person who interviewed me was my co-host on In the Upper Room, and that is Shauna Roy. Shauna interviewed me, and Shauna took good care of me. So that's what we do here. We take care of you. If you come down to the studio, you can always rest assured that you're going to be taken care of by each one of these program hosts here. We're all dedicated community people. We weren't trained on the backstages in Hollywood. So we're sincere people, and we're real people just like you. When I walk out of this studio this evening, guess what? I walk out into the community of Wilmington. And what affects you affects me. So therefore, we are always concerned and we're always open to your input because we are your neighbors. So with that said, I am going to get ready to sign off this evening, and we're going to play some clips from On the Road with Doc Pritchett. I thank you so much for allowing me to sit with you this evening. It's truly been a blessing, and to be a part of this, I can't even tell you how good it feels. So listen, if you have an idea for a program or your own show, you can always contact LAPA. Get in touch with Sister Ruth Baker or Miss Sherry Congo, or you can call me and I'll put you in touch with them. My number is 302-494-0231. And because the more the merrier, you want to be a part of this because it's really exciting to see the direction in which live leased access is going. And so with that said, I want to wish you and your family a very blessed evening, and I hope your week gets off to a great start. Again, I'm Mike Riley on behalf of Mr. Maurice Pritchett, Mrs. Juanita Pritchett, Miss Shauna Roy, Brother Darius Brown from a Greater Wilmington. I love you all, and good night. Take me home. That's a wrap. Good night. Abin, I know I'm handsome, brother, but I'm ready to go.